By now, you've probably heard of Starfield. It's the first new universe by Bethesda Softworks in over 25 years, and is arguably their most ambitious project yet, rivaling even massively popular titles such as Fallout 4 and Skyrim. But those games are kind of ancient history at this point, despite the re-release and then re-release of Skyrim, and the company has faced massive criticism over the past 5 years or so, with the fiasco that was the Fallout 76 launch and the complete flop that Redfall turned out to be. Indeed, the company might have its work cut out for it in winning back the trust and admiration of fans like myself, whose introduction into PC gaming included legendary titles like The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind back in 2002. And so Todd Howard, the director and executive producer over at Bethesda, and his team have come up with something completely different. Starfield will take you on a voyage through the galaxy on a journey to answer humanity's, quote, greatest mystery. Probably something to do with this floating metal stuff.
As to what they are, what they're building, you will be part of solving that puzzle now.
You'll create your character, choose your path, construct outposts, open trade routes, and engage in thrilling ground or space-based combat. You can navigate to and explore 1,000 planets as the captain of your own custom-designed ship, and you'll harvest resources, visit stunning settlements, and interact with NPCs along the way.
Let's see about getting you a proper ship, one worthy of you.
At least that's what they're advertising, and one thing's for certain in today's gaming landscape: always take these claims with a grain of salt and keep your expectations low. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. But with that said, I'd like to take you on a tour and get you acquainted with the game. I, for one, am pretty excited to give this game a try, and if you stick around, I'm sure that you will be too by the end of the video. So let's begin. The brand new, entirely original setting of this game is approximately 300 years into our future. We are told that Starfield is set in an era of exploration, and you'll be a part of a group known as Constellation, which is the last group of space explorers venturing into the cosmos, with the aim to discover new planets, life, artifacts, and technology. Think of it as like NASA on a much grander sort of science fiction level. Bethesda has even taken to calling the theme
NASA Punk,
like a mix between real-life science and NASA with cyberpunk. The game world is supposedly very rich, and the devs are spending a lot of time on the lore, even going so far as to create a timeline of events that spans centuries. If you've ever played games like Fallout or The Elder Scrolls, this really isn't anything new. They did the same thing for those games in order to make the whole universe feel more believable and interesting, and that's what I'm going to be looking for when I start exploring in Starfield. Bethesda has been pretty tight-lipped about a lot of these specifics, but they've dropped a few hints and a few specifics about planets and factions within the game. It appears as though the most important events surrounding the timeline in Starfield was the 20-year interstellar war between the Freestar Collective and the United Colonies. I'm getting some serious Stormcloaks versus Imperial Legion vibes from this, if you're familiar with Skyrim, with the Freestar Collective fighting for and successfully retaining their independence from the UC. Aquila is the capital of the Freestar Collective, and it's known for its wild frontier and alien creatures, most notably the Ashta, an alien predator resembling a mix between a wolf and a velociraptor.
We're not just here to shoot the bad guys. We're peacekeepers. We protect the people of the Freestar Collective.
Then we have New Atlantis, the capital city of the United Colonies, and the most powerful established military and political faction in the game. It's situated on the temperate world of Jemison in Alpha Centauri, and it's visually quite an architectural marvel.
Agreed to work for UC SysDev, and together we take down these cutthroat pirates.
Oh, and while we're on the topic of factions, it's worth mentioning the Crimson Fleet, which is headquartered in the Crix system. This confederation of pirate captains forms an organized and growing threat in the region. Thieves Guild.
When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet, no one quits. The only way out is death.
Then we've got Neon. Neon is built on an aquatic moon orbiting a gas giant. The planet is home to a species of fish that produces a psychotropic chemical, which is now being exploited by corporations such as Ryogen Industries, who have turned this place into something of a pleasure planet. And lastly, we have Cydonia, a mostly underground city located on Mars. This was one of the first extraterrestrial settlements for humanity and is the starting point for your character, who begins their journey as a miner.
Okay, take it easy. You were out cold.
Hey, you. Finally awake.
And these are just 4 out of the 1,000 or so procedurally generated planets contained within dozens of explorable star systems. And I know that these days, procedurally generated can be interpreted as low quality since a computer is doing all of the work and not like an artist, but I think that 1,000 is actually a pretty good number. They could have done what No Man's Sky did and make literally millions of meaningless, repetitive, or mostly empty worlds and star systems that were all procedurally generated, but instead they've limited it so that each planet and system is more or less unique or has a unique feel to it and should hopefully be worth exploring, whether that means building an outpost or just extracting some specific resource. Okay, so now that we know where and when everything takes place, let's delve into the gameplay. In this universe, your ship is more than just a means of transport. It's going to be your home, your fortress, an extension of your character's identity. To acquire a ship, players can purchase them from a variety of dealers found throughout the galaxy.
I'm sure you can find something you like.
The ship market is diverse, with each ship having its own set of unique features and capabilities and aesthetics. So whether you're in the market for like a fast, nimble scout ship, or a heavily armored cruiser, or a big transport ship, there's likely going to be a ship out there that fits your needs. But Starfield also includes a comprehensive ship building and customization system, so you're not stuck with the design of your purchased ship. You can modify, upgrade, and personalize your vessel to fit your preferences and your playstyle. If you want to outfit your ship with stronger weapons for space combat, then go for it. If you prefer a more peaceful approach, you could get advanced scanners and resource gathering tools maybe. The customization options are broad and allow players to feel a real sense of ownership over the spacecraft. Space combat also forms an integral part of the Starfield experience, involving a blend of tactical maneuvering, precise firing, and intelligent power distribution. In the heat of battle, you might decide to ramp up your engine's power to swiftly close the distance to an enemy. Once in range, you can shift the power over to your weapons, giving your firepower an extra punch. Following your assault, power could then be rerouted to bolster your shields as you pull back to strategize your next move. To me, this really puts you in the captain's seat, a la Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Mr. Data, shields are holding, sir. Hold fire.
Feel free to destroy your enemy and salvage the wreckage, or link up for a boarding raid and try to seize the vessel and its contents for yourself. Just be aware that zero-G combat presents some interesting challenges, as ballistic weapons will actually push you backwards. Alternatively, energy weapons might lend to a much more stable experience. At character creation, you will select from 16 unique backgrounds. Whether you fancy yourself a persuasive diplomat, a resourceful chef, or a dangerous bounty hunter, the choice is yours. In addition, you'll also choose 3 traits, each conferring bonuses and penalties. For example, the alien DNA trait, where you previously volunteered for some xeno experiment that resulted in more health, but you'll have resistance to healing items. Another example is the kid stuff trait, which allows you to visit your in-game parents, but at the expense of giving up a % of your income each week. In addition to your background and your traits, you'll also be dealing with skills. Each background grants you 3 fixed starting skills. The skill system in Starfield seems to be a sort of mix between the systems found in Bethesda's previous games like Fallout and The Elder Scrolls. The skills are divided into 5 categories. There's physical, social, combat, science, and tech. Each category serves a different role and allows players to specialize and adapt their character to your sort of preferred playstyle. For instance, if you favor a more combat-oriented style, you might want to invest in skills from the combat category, like sniper certification, which makes scoped weapons steadier and reduces their sway. On the other hand, if you're more interested in a social manipulation or diplomacy playstyle, you might want to focus on the social category. Among the social skills, persuasion stands out. The skill can be used to sway NPCs in conversations, potentially changing the outcome of an interaction or even a whole quest line.
Fine, I'll issue you an access card.
Notably, if you choose a diplomat as your background, you'll start with an increased chance of success in speech challenges, allowing you to leverage dialogue options to your advantage right from the get-go. But it's not just about choosing a skill and sticking with it. There have been some hints toward a more dynamic sort of system where your chosen skills will improve with consistent use and practice, providing a sense of progression and mastery over time, basically like action skills. As creative director Todd Howard has pointed out, quote, "You can unlock new skills as you level up, and then you can rank those skills up by using solving them and completing challenges. This intricate skill, background, and trait system should ensure that there's a good amount of replayability. Starfield also introduces an extensive crafting system, from crafting tools, medicine, food, and weapons to the ability to build bases and develop new technologies. Crafting forms a core part of the gameplay loop. And resource management does as well, as you'll be harvesting resources from various planets to fuel your crafting and exploration efforts. And speaking of exploration, it's really the heart of Starfield. Each planet you discover is teeming with potential, with resources to harvest, landmarks to scan, and secrets to uncover, and you won't have to blindly wander through the cosmos. There's an in-depth system and planetary scanning system, which lets you gain preliminary information about the region before you commit to traveling there with the help of your Graviton Loop Array Drive, or Grav Drive. Combat in Starfield appears to be a sort of amalgamation of what we've seen in previous Bethesda games. Whether you're more comfortable with first-person or third-person combat, Starfield will support both playstyles, and from the gameplay we've seen so far, there seems to be a heavy emphasis on ranged combat, with players wielding high-tech guns and energy weapons. But with that being said, we're also expecting extensive melee combat mechanics, boost packs, and even a mysterious gravity-bending power reminiscent of the Force from Star Wars, and this appears to be one of the major focuses of the main quest line. Building bases or outposts supposedly plays a key role in your interstellar adventure. You can establish a presence on various planets you come across in your travels, enabling you to explore and exploit these areas more thoroughly. The base building mechanic is both strategic and practical. Bases can serve multiple functions, such as a refuge for rest and relaxation, a depot for resource storage, a research station for researching new technologies, or a trading post for interacting with local inhabitants or factions. But no word yet on if there will be any sort of base defense mechanic. Building a base in Starfield works through a modular system. You'll start by selecting a site for your base. Once chosen, you can place different modules to build up your base. Each module serves a unique function. For example, a living quarters can increase your base's population capacity, and you can even staff your outpost with NPCs to automate certain tasks and to keep the location productive and relevant in your absence. And some modules may even require specific technology, which you can research using the science skill called Outpost Engineering. The Outpost system adds an extra layer of depth to the game, rewarding thoughtful and strategic planning. By intelligently designing and expanding your base, you can establish a network of outposts that support your objectives and your playstyle, making your journey through the stars much more personal and engaging. One crucial aspect we haven't touched on yet is the game's length. Todd Howard has revealed that the game's main story will take roughly 30 to 40 hours to complete. However, as with any Bethesda game, the main story is just the tip of the iceberg. Side quests, exploration, crafting, base building, and space combat are expected to provide hundreds of additional hours of gameplay. So if you're the type of player who likes to immerse yourself in a game's world and explore every nook and cranny, Starfield is likely to keep you busy for a very long time. As for mods, Bethesda has a rich history of supporting its games with full mod support, and Starfield will be no different. The possibilities of player-created content could add a whole new layer to the exploration, combat, and crafting experience. Now, I know that some of you might be wondering, is Starfield multiplayer? Well, as ambitious as Starfield is, Bethesda has confirmed that it will be a single-player experience. There are currently no plans for any sort of online or co-op player mode. However, Starfield won't be a static experience. During a recent interview, Todd Howard confirmed that there will be at least one story expansion titled Shattered Space. We don't know much about it yet or when it will arrive after Starfield's launch, but it's good to know that Bethesda is planning to expand the game post-launch, and it definitely falls in line with the typical AAA ethos of just bleeding you dry, right? So Starfield is set to release on September 6th of 2023. In terms of platforms, Starfield will be launching as an Xbox Series X console exclusive and on PC. This exclusivity is a result of Microsoft's massive acquisition of ZeniMax Media in 2021, which included Bethesda Game Studios. It's also been confirmed that Starfield will be available via Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass from day one. And sorry to all you PlayStation fans out there, there's no plans to bring this to PS4 or 5 on the horizon. So Starfield is definitely shaping up to be an ambitious, expansive, and immersive RPG experience that blends the best of what Bethesda has to offer with a whole new universe to explore. With its rich lore, deep character customization, intricate skill and traits system, and modding possibilities, Starfield is setting itself up as a title that will offer hundreds of hours of gameplay and endless possibilities for years to come. At least that's the plan. Bethesda today doesn't seem to be the same company as the one that made the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout games. Something seems to have changed with them, but Starfield is really their ultimate shot at redemption, and I remain cautiously optimistic that this most wishlisted game on Steam will deliver on its promises and be one of the top titles of the year and possibly even of the decade. And that brings us to the end of my in-depth look at Starfield. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be covering more Starfield news as we get closer to launch, so stay tuned for more, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video. Take care, everyone. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, for leaving a like, but most of all, thank you to the long list of amazing supporters that you see right here. I hope this episode has earned your subscription, and I can't wait to show you the next one. Best wishes to all, and goodbye.